All right, guys, it's Andrew from Lou Projects. I'm here with Sar from Kamispace. We're actually doing something different. We're doing an interview at the art space we've built. We're going to talk about the experience that we had together, and hopefully you guys get something out of it, and hopefully you enjoy this conversation. Okay, so Sar, I'm going to start with something random.
Okay.
What's the most useless talent that you have?
I'm hypermobile. My wrists are hypermobile. I didn't know my elbow does this, which is really weird.
Oh, wow, okay.
I don't know why that was my first.
You got so many talents, obviously. You're an artist.
What do you call it? A jack of all trades, master of none.
Okay, yeah, that's very much
I've got a lot, like I started knitting. I can teach you how to cast on when you put a piece of yarn on a knitting needle to start knitting, but I can't tell you how to finish.
Right. Oh, that sounds about...
Yeah.
Sounds like,
yeah.
Well, tell us about Kamispace. What's inspired you to create this space?
I guess the spiel that I always give everyone is that Kamispace is a bit of an accidental passion project, I suppose. So I'm a painter. I also run in a completely separate business in branding and creative direction, and I have 2 kids, and after my second was born, I found myself in a bit of a creative rut. And anyway, fast forward, I picked up the paintbrush for the first time in a really long time, and I started painting out of my garage, and I loved it. I paint really big. I paint on these really big canvases. So I was painting a lot out of the garage, sort of turned it into a little studio, which was great, but I quickly outgrew it. And then obviously my kids would come and find me. And then my wonderful partner had the suggestion. We had been looking at investing in a commercial property somewhere in Arana, and he sort of suggested, well, why don't we buy a small little office space to invest in, and you can work out of it and paint and do my other work. So I was doing my other work with creative direction and photography. And it can sort of double up as like a little painting studio. And then from there, we stumbled across this place, which was for sale, which was obviously not a little office. It's a massive warehouse. And so we bid on it, didn't think we were going to get it, and we did. And then it sort of just started from there. It sort of snowballed because obviously this place is massive. I don't know how many square feet. You probably know better than I do.
Square feet?
Yeah, square. Sorry, those are my Americanisms. Square meters. It was massive, and so then I had the thought that it would be quite selfish to keep it to myself. And again, coming from a family of artists, generations of artists. My brother did a lot of art residencies in his time. I'm from Indonesia, and art spaces are aplenty there. You can't walk down the street without there being a little museum or an artist co-op, and so I guess I wanted to take those ideas and put it into this space, and then that's when we engaged you. So that's pretty much the start of it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's funny how we met, right? You reached out to me quite a number of years ago.
Yeah.
And it was for your house, and there was
Wait, which house? We had a house before that we were going to engage, and then we sold it, and so you've been on our radar for a while.
Been a while, yeah. So isn't it funny? But I think in the original designs, we had Luke Farrugia design some stuff for you guys, and there was a studio at the back, and that was going to be your little art space.
That's right. And, gosh, that feels like
that was a while ago. It's funny, the journey and the iterations of ideas of what you want to do with your business and your space has now turned into this. You're just fully committed to a full send hub, I guess, for the community, right?
Yeah.
And I saw it on the day of the launch, and was like blown away about like how many people were here and how many people were actually interested in the art. And if I'm being honest, when you guys approached me, I was like, okay, I'll build it, no dramas. But
it was really funny.
Why?
You went on for a time there not really knowing what the vibe was. Look, that's so fair.
Yeah, and then, we saw the initial design by Pear Studio, and like, I was like, that's a very cool space. Yes. And that's where I was like, let's 100% lean into this.
Yeah.
You were in discussions with me about your house, but then you sort of thought, all right, well, maybe Lou Projects could build your art space.
I think we were undecided not about engaging you to renovate our house, because you're obviously doing it now. But we couldn't decide on the scope. We didn't know whether to go kind of full hog or kind of scale it back, and we were sort of undecided. We bought our house that we're in now, at a really funny time in the market, and but we had admired your work. It was actually my partner who found you guys on Instagram all those years ago and became one of those favorite builders. Your social media is very schmick.
Mitch became a groupie.
Yeah. Groupie, yeah. He was a groupie. And so, yeah, you were always kind of on our radar. And then I think when we decided that we were going to invest a little bit more than we initially thought in the space, it just felt natural to sort of approach you, because I knew that I wanted the space to be something special and be on a certain caliber, because anything can be an art space. That's the beautiful thing about art, and this is obviously very bougie,
for sure.
But not all art spaces are or have to be.
You didn't cut any corners here, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I sort of wanted it to be a place where people can come and feel just inspired by the space itself without any art on the walls. And I think we achieved that.
Yeah, for sure.
People walk in here all the time. I mean, I get people off the street. I mean, we've only been open 6 weeks, and I get people coming and wanting to check it out, which is incredible. That's sort of what we were going for, and it's just nice to see. So I think it speaks to having the effect of being in just like a beautiful, considered space, the effect that has on people. And people are really excited about the space.
Cool. Yeah. You guys reached out to me first, and then I put you in contact with Pear Studio.
Yes.
And so tell us about that, like the collaboration there and your experience with Pear Studio. Corinne, did she basically nail the brief pretty quickly?
She did, yeah. We didn't have a designer on our radar, but I do know from past conversations with you that you prefer to work with a designer.
Oh, that's right. I think Mitch rang me about our office space and saw that.
That's right. That's how the story went. Because when I was sort of telling him my vision of the space, I was like, I want a lot of plywood, and I want, and then he showed me the video that Pear had designed of your awesome space, and I loved it. I was like, I want so many of those elements at Kamispace. So I think, you're right. That's how kind of we got to engaging Pear, who have been incredible. Corinne's a really incredible designer. She's very empathetic designer, which I think, coming from a design background myself, I think empathy is a really important quality to have as a designer, because she's never designed an art space before. And so I'm sort of putting all my craziest hopes and wildest dreams in her hands. And that's a big responsibility as a designer, to turn it into something. And she just did such an incredible, and so collaborative as well. I mean, the whole team has been collaborative in the way that she approached it. She was really curious, which I appreciate. Again, being a designer myself, I really appreciate that curiosity. And I'd like to think we're pretty laid-back clients.
Yes. You actually are.
Good.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm glad you said that. I like to think we're pretty laid-back. So, if there were, some discussions of, Corinne would come up with some materials, and I go, actually, that's beautiful, but it wouldn't work in a space. It has to be functional. And she took that feedback on board so well. And just such a pleasure to work with. She's really sort of the heart of the design of this space. A lot of it,
For sure.
That sort of gave her a little bit, and she ran with it.
Yeah, you sort of made a point there, but you didn't say it out, like, in this way I'm about to describe it, but you basically trusted us,
Totally,
like there wasn't, I think the biggest failures in like a project can be constant undermining, when clients are just constantly like, oh no, this could be done better, this could be done better. They're just, constantly wanting to be involved in a way that, like, they're basically trying to take over our job.
Yep.
And I think that is super disruptive to the project.
Absolutely.
I understand you want to have your input, but at the same time, I think there's a level of trust that you need to give to your designer and your builder, and I think you guys did that so well.
Yeah.
And I think that's why this project's been so successful.
I think so too, and I think, again, coming from a design background, I've had those clients myself. I know how frustrating it is. And I think it comes down to credibility, right? Like if you look at, this wasn't your first rodeo. If you look at your whole portfolio, the work speaks for itself, the attention to detail speaks for itself. So yeah, we just went into it trusting that you knew what you were doing, and I think those are the best kind of clients. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but being able to just trust that the person you're paying a lot of money. Andrew's not cheap, for good reason.
Hey, come on, look at the space. Come on, get out of here.
Not cheap, so not a budget builder, right? But there's a reason for that.
Yes.
Because you deliver a certain caliber of work. And with that, I think, for any potential clients, you just have to put that trust that you know your shit. I'm allowed to swear. you know your stuff. You know your stuff, and so.
I appreciate that. Like, I think it's really important to trust the builder, and like you said, we're not the cheapest builder out there, but like, my thing is about experience, like if I didn't allow for enough project management time or site supervision time, then everyone's sort of stretched, and it's like, I didn't allow for this time, I'm not going to bother trying to resolve issues with you because I didn't allow for this time, So all of that's factored into the build budget, and that's why we're probably a little bit more expensive than run-of-the-mill builder off the side of the road.
Again, for good reason, I think. Because you do something quite unique in that you actually charge a fee for your preliminary quotes, which is not something, we don't have a heap of experience with builders, but we have done a couple renovations. That was something that I wasn't taken aback by, but just something I had never seen before. But now, after undergoing the process from start to finish, I can absolutely see why you
charge for that.
It's really smart. I'm like, should I be doing that with my design work?
Ultimately, it's about making the build experience a lot simpler and easier. So because that part is really stressful, right? So if you iron out most of the problems early on,
absolutely,
then it's not going to blow into something crazy.
And just how organized everything was from start to finish. We had a lot of outstanding, we added on a few things kind of after the fact. But I'd say in terms of budget, we were pretty aligned with what you said it was going to be, which is incredible because we've had build projects before where, like how long's a piece of string? The budget can double because the builder hasn't accounted for X, Y, Z. But I think apart from one or two very small things, we haven't had any.
There's little to no variations, really. On the grand scheme of things, it was less than 1%.
So I think I can absolutely understand why you do charge for that process now, and just how thorough.
You have to be.
Well, the actual quotas, we got it, and we were like, oh, it's like a booklet.
Yeah, it's like 30 pages. Exactly.
Oh, okay.
A lot to read, but
a lot to read, but it's a very considered process. So I definitely, I definitely think it's well worth it. I can see why you do it now. At the time, I was sort of like, this guy. Okay.
Hopefully we can clip this, and hopefully clients can not question why I charge a consulting fee.
It makes perfect sense.
And so hopefully makes it
easy.
And
the other thing is just how considered you are with the trades that you use is probably the other thing that really stands out to me. Is because I don't think we were too much sticky beaks during the build process.
Definitely not. No.
We tried to sort of just hand it over to you, and we came over here when you needed us and whatnot. But every time I did, because I was working next door temporarily, every time I did sort of pop over, I was just very appreciative of how professional everyone was, and not only that, but how much they cared about the work they did. I had what was our Tyler's name? Mitch.
Yes.
We had a lot of Mitches on this job. I had Mitch come and it was really funny. I don't think I told you this story. He was like, "Oh, Sarkama, I need you to look at this grout color," because Corinne had sort of specified a type of grout color, but and I'm like, all right, thinking that it was like black or white. And he's like, so these are the grout colors. What do you think? And I'm looking at them and I'm like, I think they're the same. And he's like, they're not the same. He's like, foolish woman, no, they're not. They were like, he's like, this one's warmer, this one's slightly darker. Do you see my conundrum? And I was like, wow, that is really drilling down on it. And I appreciated it so much. I mean, I ended up just being like, whatever you think, you seem to.
But yeah, you appreciated it at the time.
I appreciated so much just the...
Because it can make a difference, you know.
It can, and some clients really care about that. Not that saying that I don't care about that, but I appreciated that he valued my opinion, and also that he wasn't just like, all right, I'll just choose what I think. Yeah, made an assumption. Yeah. And that was, we have had just the most wonderful experience with your trades who are now working at our house, and again, professional, respectful, and really care about the quality of the work that they're doing.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing with building, right? Never make assumptions, because that's definitely stitched me up in the past. So that's why I try not to do that on this job. Yeah. So I guess we'll try and close this out, but a couple of questions. Yeah. Advice to someone planning out a fit out for a creative space?
Ooh, talk to a lot of artists, depending on what kind of art space, of course. Talk to as many artists as you can. Talk to them about how they run their studios. Talk to them about what they would like to see in a creative space. Talk to them about how they work in a creative space. I think one of the reasons this place has been so successful in kind of its development was because I spoke to probably... Yeah, I mean, you sort of saw that process. I was just meeting and having coffee with artists who were really generous with their time. A lot of the artists I didn't even know, that I sort of reached out over Instagram just to get their 2 cents on the space, which really helped inform the design for Corinne to kind of, there was a lot of, I think, changes. For example, that was meant to be just a photography space, I think, when we sort of, and then I had a really good artist friend of mine say, actually, it would work incredible as an exhibition space, which I thought, I thought that was going to be just upstairs. That was my boring idea. Yeah. But it was really her, her to say, hang on, wait, actually, it would be amazing if you walk through those doors and there'd be this art hanging on the walls because the ceiling's so high. Yeah. So yeah, talk to as many artists as you can, and don't make assumptions, like you said.
For sure. Yeah, I guess you're taking real-time feedback from people, so you can apply that to anyone that's wanting to either build a house or a creative or any sort of space or commercial space. So it's about an initial idea, but don't be so sort of wedded to the idea that you may have to pivot. But you want to try and iron that out early on in that pre-construction phase. But the changes you made here were very minimal, and it really had no impact on our timeline. I think the store was probably the biggest sort of pivot. Oh, which is nothing, We felt so bad because it was, we were planning to sort of, because that was meant to be just my office space, as you know. But we were planning, with a little couch and whatnot, and it was something we were planning to do down the line, but having you guys here, and I was like, well, let's just get it out of the way. And so you guys did great. You snapped that up in like a week. So now it's a store, which is great. Yeah. It's all worked out pretty good. Yeah. Get a nice little shot of that again. All right, well, we'll wrap it up. One last question. Would you recommend Lou Projects? I would. He's not cheap. That's it. Cut it down. Yes, save up your pennies. No, I'm just joking. Worth every penny. Absolutely would recommend you guys, and it's just been a pleasure. And it's speaks to the fact that you guys are so awesome that we have you over now, working away at our little house. Yeah, I feel like we've become friends too. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's really nice because it's Arno and it's Troy. It's the same team that was. I said the other day the band's back together. Now they're working on the house. So yeah, absolutely. It's been a pleasure, and stay tuned for what's about to evolve here. Maybe. Yeah, who knows? Maybe there's another. Kamispace 2.0. Yeah. If you're not sick of us. Might get one in. Who knows? But anyways, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. No worries. Thanks, Andrew.